Hello, everyone. This is Reggie, and I am doing my stock review for today, Friday, December 4th. And my focus today is going to be on EV stocks. It's the talk of the town right now, and there's a lot of confusion. The stock has been up, the stock has been down. There's been good news, there's been bad news. Is There's going to be legislation that's going to prevent Chinese EV companies. It's going to affect Chinese EV companies. What's Elon Musk doing? What did he have for breakfast today? We're gonna cover all that stuff. Well, we'll cover the important stuff. Anyway, thanks for looking. Thanks for watching my channel. I appreciate it. I just try to share my information. There's a lot of smart people on YouTube. There's a lot of false people on YouTube. So just it's like remind people use a good filter for information. Have a good filter for information, and just apply it to what works for you, your trading goals, and your trading style that you're comfortable with. So nobody should 100% mirror someone else's trading style, because what works for me may not work for you. I'm a business owner. I have a business, and so I've got a lot of flexibility on time, so I can spend a lot of time researching these stocks. But if you're working a 9 to 5, and especially somewhere where you can't, look at your phone a lot and stuff and look at stocks, then there are different trading styles from you other than what I do. Or hopefully, my consolidation of the information I'm sharing helps make you a better trader. Again, there's an old saying: none of us is better than all of us. So there's no individual that's better than the whole team. So let's get going. So today's conversation is about EV stocks. Right now it's 11 o'clock. It's real time right there on my computer, and we're looking at Tesla. And I like to show real time because what I say today may not be relevant in 4 hours, like tomorrow, next week, because stocks move, and that's the nature of the game. They're like, I know you ever see somebody chasing a greased up pig. I only seen it on TV, never tried it myself, but it looks like it's hard to do, right? And that's what the stock market is. Stock market is that greased up pig, and we're trying to grab it, and it sees us coming, and so it reverses direction. It has all kind of agility, and it's greasy, so it's designed for you not to catch it, right? But we're still going to try to catch it. So the stock market is going to elude you, and it's up to us to put in the best strategy to catch the smart stock market when it's slipping, because the stock market makes mistakes, and that's when we make the most money. Case in point, if you're an options trader, if you try to trade on earnings, you'll see the volatility rise on an option, and a lot of times that is that you'll see the delta. It might have like a 20 delta, and then like a 19 theta. Like it's set up for failure. You can't hold it. So anyway, if you don't know what none of that is, write it down, Google it, and do a homework on options Greeks. So anyway, the market. So it's just about it. Knowledge is empowering. Knowledge is power and empowering. So let's influence each other. So let's look at Tesla. Tesla right now is consolidating. So I like to use Bollinger Bands, RSI indicator, and MACD indicator, and also my gut, right? But you shouldn't rely 100% on none of those. Use them all to help make a healthy hypothesis on which way you should go or you should trade. So let's look at Tesla. This is a 1 day chart, and it's broke out. So let's do some lines. Let's do some lines. So this big red candle is going to determine everything, right? Because we needed to break past it. And usually, and again, we all do charts. We all do technical analysis different ways based off our own individual trading style. So you might see me do a technical analysis. Then you see someone else do a technical analysis with lines in completely different spots. But we're all in the same ballpark mainly. So anyway, this is a trading range I've chosen because of this huge sell-off here. And so we want to break out of this to start a new trend. So we had an uptrend here, and that trend broke with this green candle, and it found support here at what's that, $554.51. So this is a great time to buy, especially because it's green, and then you see this wick down, which means it tried to go lower, but the buyer said nope, we're buying, and it gapped up higher. So the next day, so that was December 2nd. Yesterday, it kind of consolidated. So right now, it's kind of it doesn't know what to do. It's a fight between people selling the stock and people buying the stock and the robots. I call them the market makers, the things behind the scene, the house. When it comes to like the casino, it's the house trying to beat you. So there's a lot of factors anyway. So let's see what the Bollinger Band tells us about Tesla. Let's look at the RSI first. RSI wasn't isn't still in overbought territory, but heading down. It looks like the blue line was attempting to do pump fake you. So this will fool you. So if you look at just the where it kind of plateaued here, it looked like it was heading towards that red line and crossing over and probably heading back up. But then it pump faked you and headed down. But they're still close, which is good. So it's heading down into undersold territory, which means that uh, it doesn't always mean that the stock is going to hit trend down because RSI is going down, but it's going into because it's such a popular stock, it almost lives in overbought territory. Excuse me. So I'm like on my fourth video, so my throat. Excuse me. Got my protein shake. Been at this for a few hours now. So we have Tesla consolidating. So let's look at let's zoom in, right? And we zoom in by going to a lower time frame. So I'm going to go to 4 hours. Still looks the same. So they kind of bottomed out here. So it went past this line a little bit to test, but failed. Let's go to 1 hour. Okay, so yesterday we gapped up. 2 days ago we gapped up. It's the 1 hour chart, and the shade is like the non-traditional trading hours, the aftermarket, pre-market, and post-market hours. Gapped up. So it's power. It's trying to power up. See, and it's found support here. So as of right now, we found support at 590. It tested the lower side. It hit the middle of the Bollinger Band. Bollinger Band is starting to head to the upside, but the top of the band is coming to the downside, which means consolidation. So stocks stay within the Bollinger Band. It's a very detailed calculation with Bollinger Bands. Don't waste your time trying to figure it out. Just trust the process. And it looks like we're going to consolidate for right now for the next hour because we just started a new hour. It's 48 minutes left in this hour until a new candlestick arises. But it looks like it's heading to the upside. Is right now we're underneath the VWAP. And so it looks like we're heading towards the upside, but not a huge gap up to the upside because this Bollinger Band is heading down and this is heading up, which means we're going to have a small channel to trade in for the next few hours. So that's only useful if you're like a day trader, but it's useful if you're a day trader or if you're looking for an entry point. So if you're looking to swing trade, you're looking for like a good, you want to enter at a high point, but at the same time, you don't want to waste your time nickel and diamond trying to save 10 cents buying it, when it's lower. But to each his own. So now we don't have enough information today as of yet. So I wouldn't probably make a move on this until afternoon if you're doing this today. If you've seen this video after today, then it's null and void information. So let's look at the monthly chart. So we're in a new month right now. And this is actually a good sign. So it's red from sellers, but it gapped down, had a false break to the downside, and jumped up. And so at some point this month, I'm predicting it's going to break above that 607.80. So if Tesla can stay above 608, it's going to break out. So as of right now, it's probably going to consolidate a little bit. It's going to consolidate, but sometime this month it's going to break out. This is because it favors the upside, right? I mean that, and then look at last month. You had this huge buy, right? So this is another breakout. See, now this is an old, excuse me, an old line I drew because it was flagging. There's a big flag here, and on this, so on in November, it broke out big time. So that's what it does. So you have these flag of consolidation, and then it was squeeze and that pressure at the tip of the flag will just bam, will just explode to the upside or the downside. But again, we're in a bull market. It's been a shaky bull market right now, but the American Stock Exchange, for the most part, favors the upside and favors bull markets. So we have the weekly option here. I mean, the weekly option, the weekly chart here. A little concerning. So each chart tell a different story, and this is how you kind of gauge which way you should go with the market. Uh, this is a little concerning because it's outside of the top of the Bollinger Band, and I don't care what stock you look at, any stock where you see, let's go back here, you see it go above this green line here, which is the top of the Bollinger Band, it's going to come back in. Come on back home. Even if it goes to the downside, you'll see it come on back. It stays within the formula for Bollinger Bands is so precise. It stays within that band. And the Bollinger Band are moving averages, so it's all numbers. It's all math, man. It's all math. So see, like here, it broke out, came back home, kind of consolidated to move over and let the Bollinger Band adjust. Then the stock gapped up again because again, volume, man. You can't stop. Volume is a moving train. So I don't care if this thing busts up way outside the Bollinger Band. You got the volume. The Bollinger Band is like, okay, let's just slow down. But then it'll still gap up on you if you got the volume. So right now it looks like the volume has dropped and then it came back. So beginning of November, we had our lowest volume in a while, and then November 16th, boom. 23rd, boom. End of November, got a little red. We had a little election issues, and so I predict this week. So yeah, this is a mixture of this week, this November 30th. Uh, so next week, hopefully, we'll get more volume. Especially look at the RSI. So I love how this looks. So even though it's sitting on top of that Bollinger Band so high, look at it. The RSI is like right in the middle. I like that. The MACD's flying a little high, but it's still open, showing the uptrend. So I think it's going to go towards the upside, but you won't see a huge move yet. So based off of the weekly chart here and where it's at in the Bollinger Band, I see it probably sitting below that 607, consolidating, maybe even dropping a little bit to the 554, taking a breather before heading back up. Because even our SAR indicator here is showing upside support, so upside trend. So when you see these dots here underneath, that means upside. When you see a dots on top, that means it's heading towards the downside. So I use all these indicators to help verify how to make a trade, how to make a swing trade. So now another thing we could research if you want to play Tesla or any other EVs, let's look at the whole sector, right? Now my little list here doesn't represent the whole sector, but just real quick, like we have NIO here. We have a SAR indicator showing the beginning of downside movement. Now, it could be because of this huge sell-off candle here. But then we can have a candle here that stays inside it and it works its way up, and this still show a downtrend until the trend is broken. We have really good volume, which is good. I mean, the sellers won on this day, this week. Let's go to daily. The weekly is for long swing. I swing daily, so I do daily swing trades. And so we have again, see, it's catered towards the downside. I love it that it hit here. This has been a good time to buy. We had good volume on that day, and then volume we lacked a bit of volume on the third, and then today, we still got to let that today play out. But we're looking good so far. I mean, it's 11 o'clock, and we're more than halfway past the daily volume from yesterday, according to this daily chart. So this may be a bottom. Look, this may be a very good hard support. I think that line should probably be a little bit further down, like right here. Yeah, it was touching more. Boom, 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 boom. So this is a hard support. So if it does fall again, even the MACD here kind of agrees with me. Look at that. So I believe Tesla may be a good buy if you're swing trading from here. Long term, we may see another downside based off that weekly and monthly chart because it's so high up on the Bollinger Band. Um, this depends on your particular strategy. I like to do debit credit spreads within a week and 2 weeks out because I do technical analysis, and so I feel a lot more comfortable having shorter time frames. But a lot of people go months out, but I just don't. I don't like in this volatile market. Time is usually your friend, but I believe the opposite in my trading style. So I like to get in and out when I see a trend. I like to play the trend. I'm trend changes weekly, sometimes daily, sometimes hourly. So anyway, it's looking good here, though. I mean, I like that. It's NIO, but it's reversing. We got the RSI and it underbought. It's touching, which means it may reverse. Hopefully, it doesn't pump fake us and bounce off each other. But hopefully, that blue line raises on top of the red, and we have a cross, and that'll be good, especially sitting that low. But the MACD doesn't look too promising. That doesn't. You need these lines to cross to show an uptrend. As far as how I trade, in my confidence. So we may see more red for a while. And see now you guys see how it's tough to make information. It's tough to make a decision because some things says up, some things will tell you down. So that's why you just keep going further. Let's look at workhorse. Workhorse it bounced here, so it had a big drop and then bounced, and now this trend line is kind of a support, and we still have a downtrend. Really good volume, really good volume. Today's volume looks very, very weak though, so I don't know if it's going to continue. But today is Friday, so that volume may be back on Monday. So this might be a good weekend play. But RSI is underbought. The MACD has crossed and it shows a downtrend. How much of a downtrend we don't know. It could be a small downtrend. I don't see it getting lower than this, but you never know. Let's look at plug power. Plug power again. See, these charts starting to look the same. RSI underbought. Volume is low. MACD crossed and it's favoring the downside trend. But I still see and I feel like this, the middle band of the Bollinger Band is giving us some support. It's supporting us. So if it crosses that deeply, then it would just be a little concern. But it looks like it's giving support and it's favoring the upside. Blink, which I own 100 shares of that. I bought that at $10. So I'm very happy about that. So you buy them cheap, man. You don't watch them as much. These little movements, like right. I was look at that. I was eating steak and lobster here, and now I'm down to IHOP pancakes down here. But hey, this doesn't bother me, right? Because I'm at 10. I'm still in green. So, and I don't think it'll be very tough for it to get back to 10. I mean, it had to be a catastrophic event, I believe. So anyway, RSI is again the same like all the other EVs, and our MACD is just starting to cross. So I might do a protective put, but I don't know if I'll make money off of it because look, it doesn't have far to go. Well, yes, I might make some money. So if it hits like 19, $3, I don't know, because it looks like it's getting good support right here on this line. All right, let's look at Solo, my favorite. I bought Solo when it was struggling to get above $3. It was I think I bought it at 250 and I bought it again at 295, then it dropped on me to 260, and I was like, man, Solo, it wouldn't break $3, then it finally broke out and it got up to like $13, which is nice. That was nice to see, and then it started going down. And so we got this little flag pattern here on Solo. Again, it's bouncing off that middle average of the Bollinger Band. It looks like it's giving it support like the rest of the EVs. So you kind of get a feel for the overall market. We need to watch it though and see if it breaks below. This is support, but it's a lot of red here. It's a lot of selling. It's a cheap stock. So one thing with Solo cheap stocks, in my heart, I don't have research to support this, but I feel like a lot of retail traders buy them because it's cheaper. And but then the problem with that is when you have something that's heavy with retail traders, they're quick to trade, they're quick to sell. You know, if something starts going down, they'll sell, and they shouldn't. Especially if you have options, I get it because especially if you didn't play the Greeks right and all that, but they sell and it affects the price. Or you have short sellers that take advantage of that. You have people taking profit. Maybe I mean at this low of an for an EV stock under $10. I mean I wouldn't take profit, but it's something you just hold, especially if you bought it right. So anyway, Solo, and again, I called Solo before I actually started doing my videos. I was on a Facebook group and I called Solo. I was like down here. I was like, it's gonna break out. It had formed a flag pattern. It's gonna break out, and I knew, and it was a cheap EV, and Tesla was killing it. I'm like, there's a saying: a rising tide raises all ships. So Solo, I mean, it's I'm not a fan of the product because I'm in the U.S. and a single rider car is not ideal here, but I see markets where it is. But I'm just a fan. I watch the charts, man. I watch the charts, and I'm in and out of trades. So I'm holding on to Solo. I feel this is a Biden stock because there will be legislation that helps support clean energy, and even if it and this is a Canadian company, but again, a rising tide raises all ships. So I'm holding on to Solo, and I got it super cheap. I mean, it'd be why sell it? Lithium is a play on lithium. That's see, it's starting to have a downtrend. It's kind of choppy. RSI, I don't know. So anyway, there's a lot of them like that. Nikola, stop buying Nikola, please. Please stop buying Nikola. Please stop buying it. Stop. They had a fake truck going downhill. GM somehow got I don't know. They didn't do I don't know they didn't do the due diligence or somebody was somebody's nephew that made the decision. I don't know what happened. But this was no surprise that the bad news on Nikola, excuse me if I ain't pronouncing it right. But man, please just stop buying it. There's so much it's like the babysitter analogy. I have an analogy where I say, hey, treat your money like your kids, and stocks are like a new babysitter. You're auditioning, and you're looking for a good babysitter, and you want your kids to be safe with that babysitter, and you want your kids to, you want her to interact with them and maybe read to them and teach them stuff, maybe help them with homework, and you want your kids to be smarter when you pick them up than they were when you drop them off. Like, you want them to develop you want them to develop, right? Same thing with stocks. Don't drop your money off at a bad babysitter. I mean, if you see, I'm not gonna name the red flags. It's gonna offend people. But if you have certain things that's a red flag to a person's character, you know, it's okay to be optimistic. But oh, maybe this one's, it's okay to be optimistic. But when it comes to your kids, you're like, let me just play it safe. And because nobody's perfect, but let's just play it safe. Anyway, Nikola, man, it's so much bad news on this. It's just so many better places to put your money, man. So many better places to put your money. That's it on Nikola. I still see people in chat rooms talking about should I sell? What should I like? What? Why'd you even buy that? That and like candy, man. Like candy, the same thing. They just fake. They're taking advantage of. Which I don't blame them. It's a business trying to eat. GM, I think GM's a sleeper. It's showing a downtrend, but it's got a very, very strong support here at 43.60. I think GM is a buy. GM is a sleeper stock in the EV market. Again, they were involved with Nikola, and but I don't knock GM for that. Um, I don't know what decision. I don't know why they. I don't know. We're not in the boardrooms. So we don't know why they made those decisions, but somebody I'm sure somebody got fired over that Nikola stuff. Uh, so anyway, we have the MACD here. MACD shows downtrend, but it's not a hard downtrend, man. I mean, I think because of volume, but once we get a little volume on GM, it's gonna pop back up. I don't see it dropping down. I mean, I think the next level is way down here at like 39, maybe 40. But I don't see it dropping there, or even maybe like 43. But I see it. Worst case scenario, I see it bouncing off this center line on the Bollinger Band, but I do see a lot of upside for GM. I'm a fan of GM. I drive a Ford though, but I'm a fan of GM stock. So anyway, in summary, I'm gonna go through all these, man. I mean, you got fuel cell. I mean, all these at this point, all these charts are looking the same, right? Uh, so in summary, EV stocks, I would buy in slow because the levels they are at now could be a good deal. But if the legislation goes the wrong way, uh, it's not based off the decision; it's based on how people feel. I mean, it could, or it's a couple bad things. If the legislation goes the wrong way, which from what I've read, it shouldn't, especially with the new administration coming in. But if it goes the wrong way, these Chinese EVs could tank. I personally feel that money will go into Tesla. I don't think Tesla will sink along with them. And on the rising tide analogy, but I don't think that would apply with the tide going down. Tesla will have it'll be like the Quinjet. No, what the Quinjet? What's that thing? Uh, Shield Marvel, the thing with anyway the hover carrier. It'll turn to a hover carrier and raise above the lowering tide. I believe so. Tesla was probably the safest bet right now. Uh, if I had to put more money into an EV, I mean, I own Solo, I own Blink, I've got some Workhorse, I've got some NIO. I had NIO at 12 and ended up making a bad decision on a covered call and ended up having got assigned and ended up selling it on a cover. I hate that. I regret that decision every day, but hopefully I made up with it with Blink. So I'm good on Blink. I got some Tesla. I've got some again swing trades on most of this stuff. I own Blink up straight up. Arc, I've got some Arc. Arc Investment was a good deal and it's at $90, man. I was licking my chops on that. This is a really good company. It's ran by a really good woman. She's nice. She's a good leader. She's probably the next um, Warren Buffett, man. She runs that fund very well. And we have so anyway, so let's sum up the video. EV stocks. The play to make, I would do maybe an Iron Condor. Would be a good play to keep it safe. Maybe probably going out to the end of the month. I believe January you might see some big gaps up, big gaps down. The week after Christmas, I think the stock market is probably going to be soft. This is all speculation, but we'll see. We'll see. We'll let the market give me confirmation on those speculations. We have NIO. Could be a steal. I mean, buy a few shares, or even be honest with you, what you could do if you want to buy, like, let's say you want to buy 100 increments of the shares, right? I like to try to buy 100 shares of a stock because you can do a lot more with it, like covered calls and stuff like that. And plus, if it moves up $1, it's $100, like so it means a lot more. It looks better. So anyway, but if you don't want to commit that type of money to these stocks right now, or you don't feel it's a bottom, buy the option, buy a covered call, and play a covered call on it. Excuse me, not a covered call, um, just a naked call option, and you lock in that price, and then you can allocate that money somewhere else. Put it in something less volatile. Put in like Ford or AT&T or something like that. Something that don't move. GE, something that gets a good dividend, but that the stock doesn't really move that much. Uh, while you're waiting to see if you're right. That way you lose a lot less, you have less money tied up, or you're just gonna hold off this legislation. So that'd be a good way to play these EV stocks right now, is just to be safe. I won't go all in on anything, but one thing I will surprise you with is if you have to buy something, if you want to get into the EVs, I would number one pick would be Tesla, and I'm gonna surprise you. The next pick will be Solo because of the upside potential because it's so cheap. Um, and again, options, man, options. Solo options may not be worth getting right now. I think the theta is a little high on those things right now. But Tesla is good. We're doing debit spreads or credit spreads. To buy a single option on any of these right now, well, ARC would be a good one. But any of these, to buy a single option, it's the most, for me personally, that's the most riskiest thing you can do. You're unprotected. There's so much volatility in the market. If it goes down, I mean, time is your enemy with options, and um, you can with credit spreads, you can beat theta. So anyway, this is Reggie with my take on EV stocks, Tesla, and how to play this market. Again, if you're confused about what I said, it might be because you're looking for a single answer, and there's no such thing. If there was, we'll all be rich. So there's different ways of playing it, but just telling you the direction of it right now, I see consolidation. At some point, there's going to be moved to the upside. Um, if you're trying to find a diamond in the rough, I don't recommend that strategy. I mean, some people, that's the reason why people buy a stock like Nikola, because they feel like it's a diamond in the rough. They like it and they committed emotionally to it. Um, but if you had to buy, I would buy Tesla. If it's too rich for your blood, then I go with Solo and hold it long. Because I see Solo, even worst case scenario, I see Solo at least being a $10 stock. Um, Best case, I'm thinking it could hit 2030. It needs some news. It needs some good. It's going to take a while to get there, though. But at these levels, with the volatility of EVs and stuff, it's a nice poor man's alternative, right? So that's my opinion. Everybody has one. um, but this is how I'm playing this market. This is how I'm playing EVs. And again, all this information can be obsolete with news over the weekend. Something else can happen. So just again, keep an open mind. Absorb as much knowledge as you possibly can. Um, and let's keep trading. Let's keep making money. And again, treat your money like your children. Don't just have any. Don't leave it with anybody. Leave it with a good stock. Leave it with something that's safe and something that's going to educate it and grow it and make it a better, make it more. You pick up more than when you left off. So anyway, this is Reggie Williams. Please like and subscribe my channel so we can keep this going. We can tell YouTube that, hey, this is useful information. So the algorithms with YouTube will share us with like-minded people. Also, feel free to comment, and if you have any questions, I love to give information, and I would love to share any experience I may have, or at least help you find the answer. And this is Reggie, and happy trading.